Directly after the prayers, we all march, chanting, and invariably, or all the time, it is met by violence. As soon as sometimes the peaceful protest doesn't even get there, and but they usually open up with tear gas. You know, sometimes if we're lucky, they'll address us with a loud hailer. There's a closed military area, as they call it, and give us 5 minutes to disperse, or you know, we may endure violence, and then they open up with the tear gas, and you know, fired from the rifles or handheld, and sometimes live fire, sometimes .22 bullets, and the rockets in or whatever. Then they have like chemical mace, or they call it skunk, like it smells like sewage. You vomit. Once it gets to your clothes, you've got to throw your clothes away. And sometimes they come out and with batons or just beating people. They will go into the village and start firing tear gas. And you know, it's a terror. What they're doing is terrorising the village. And Bil'in, you see, is quite famous now, or high profile. Bishop Tutu, Jimmy Carter, and Richard Branson, or the elders, and Mary Robinson has been there, Mairead Corrigan Maguire. And it's number one icon of resistance, or non-violent resistance, you see. And with my camera, I cover the Bil'in protest. Sometimes I cover Nalleen, and then I do Sheikh Jarrah. I go down to Hebron. Well, it's a wall that the Israelis call a security wall, and you know, and what I call, and the Palestinians call, an apartheid annexation wall. And it's been found in 2004 by the International Court of Justice to be illegal, and in order to be dismantled, reparations paid to the Palestinians. Like the Israelis say, it's security, but like it doesn't follow the green, internationally recognised armistice line, 48 armistice line, the green line they call it. It follows it for a few kilometres. Then let's say there's some rich agricultural Palestinian land coming up, and it dips in and whips it out, expropriates it into Israel. So it's a latent land grab, but the Israelis are quite adept at presenting it for security. And the world accepts this barefaced lie, you know, even though the International Court of Justice, any members of international law like Ireland, they cannot aid and abet the construction of this illegal project. You know, it's criminal what it's doing, you know. Well, my age helps me, you see. I'm, you know, 63 next May, and I don't fit, let's say, their Palestinian terrorist profile. I masquerade or oppose the terrorist, and my luggage would be sanitised, nothing to do with Palestine, and I'm there for cultural and religious reasons. If they knew what I've been doing, they would deport me. They wouldn't allow me in, let's say, you know. But they are gung-ho, they are very proactive in shutting down any support, and the more formidable it is, the more it is targeted. And I think that's why in Bil'in it's like maverick activists such as myself and ISM, and we'll be the main threat to them, because we're right up there on the front line, you know. I mean, I sleep in the international house, my clothes ready in the chair, the key in the lock, and my ready to go, be out there in a minute, and we run towards them, begin filming them, and sort of begin, let's say, not harassing them as such, but why are you here? And they don't like this.
What's the shame on you, man? You shouldn't be doing this. Shame on you.
Some of them point their guns at us, depending upon the Israeli soldier. But let's say I would, and the other internationals there would provide an insulating blanket. Like once they see us, and that's why we're targeted actually. That's why don't want people recording their crimes or their terrorization of the village. And that's why we're a threat to them as such. A threat to their war crimes, not a direct threat of physical. We don't attack them or you know, sometimes we would physically retrieve a man that's been arrested, but we never, you know, they're heavily tooled up, like, and they shoot you dead just like that, you know.
You hear me? You hear me? You want answer? Leave there. You want answers? You want answers?
Yeah, you tell us well, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I'll tell you.
You have to be ultra careful. And then when you're doing there, and I was there for 3 months, you gradually get the lie of the land or scout the mentality of these people. And I deliberately keep quiet. They tell you to move aside, I would. And then I got my own voice, let's say, towards the end, you know. I says, you know, bugger these people. I'm here for you know, why should I keep my mouth shut? And it just came out of me, assertiveness spontaneously without thinking of it. Because if you think about it, you'll freeze inside. Because, you know, with good reason, they'll shoot you or they'll damage you, arrest you, deport you. So I would challenge them, like quite, you know, robustly. Like.
No, you go over there, please. I'm asking nicely. Thank you. You can photo me as ever you want.
Why are you here, man? You want to engage in some nice explanation of why you're here?
Just doing my job, man.
Ah, well, that's what the Nazis said, man, in Auschwitz. You know, that's the notorious phrase. Wrong face, man. Just doing your job. I mean, don't you put mind to yourself, a conscience? You know? But behalf you shouldn't be here, you know?
All right.
I'm part of the family now. I'm well embedded in Bil'in, and you know, they know I'm strong there for Bil'in, like and whatever, and all the people would have a good time for me, you know, say hello to me. The children gather around me, and you know, give them the old shekel, like. And I just love her there now.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Very good.
Happy birthday to you, Martin.
Martin, yeah, that's good. That's very good.
It's piss poor, like, and all the roads are potholed, but they don't notice that after a week. You know, the people, the camaraderie or the friendliness there is so overwhelming. You know, people are very much like Ireland. When I was a child, remembering neighbours coming around and the crack would last for hours, and the conversation and the pipe smoking. And Bil'in is very much like that now. You know, it's a powerful place to be in. You know, it's very humane. Bil'in is, you know. It's like my second home now, and you know, it is my home. You know, and I'd move over there but you're only given a 3-month visa, you see, and if the Israelis may able to be onto me now, I don't know how long I'll last, even if I get into Ben Gurion Airport, but or maybe last there a week, or you know, or maybe less than 3 months, but definitely I wouldn't last the rest of my life there. They'll be onto me, get rid of me, you know. Bassem, he was a big, strong man, you know, and very agile. He was, you know, he was like a gentle giant. He'd always lead the protest every Friday, and he'd always address. I never seen him once abusing the Israeli soldiers across the way. Once the tear gas start firing, he'd stop raig or stop, like there's peaceful protest here or whatever. Bassem was shouting, "Go back!" He'd his hands up to his head, tearing in exasperation, frustration. He always tried to keep it. And he was a really sweet guy. The Israeli army would have known him. He was saying, Raiga, hands up to the Israeli commander, "You've shot and injured an Israeli protester." You know, he was shot at point blank range or whatever, with malice and malevolence. And what it did, it went right into his chest. Now, he was a big, strong man, you know, and it cracked his ribs and smashed them, and it punctured his heart. And he died there and then, you know. So, his murder destroyed the village. I mean, they're still traumatized about it, you know. And when I was here in Galway and I heard about it, and you know, I ended up crying for days. And you know, his murder deeply affects me because I knew him, and he was a very sweet man. They shouldn't have done it, and fuck him. That's why I'm ferociously focused against Israel and the murder machine, you know. So the murder of Bassem, in other words, has made me just iron hard towards Israel. They're just a murderous criminal state, you know. You know.